Okay, so my first Coco theory had a few flaws in there. I posted it right after watching the film in theaters, and give me a break. I spent the entire movie crying, so a few things slipped right past me. But to clarify, this theory is based on the movie Coco and the world that Pixar created, not necessarily the real Mexican holiday. Real quick, I would like to debunk the observation that the photos on the ofrendas dictate how people look in their afterlife. I mean, it's a neat idea, and a lot of people commented about it, but it just doesn't work because 1, Imelda had white streaks in her hair that do not exist in her picture. 2, Coco has 2 photos on the ofrenda. One is a toddler and one is an old woman. So why would the old woman automatically be her physical form if it's up to the photos? Multiple photos means multiple options, right? And bonding with her dad in toddler form seems like a more happily ever after for Coco, doesn't it? So their bodies in the afterlife have to be based on the age that that person died. And maybe the older skeletons just don't really do all the partying stuff in the land of the dead, and that's why we don't see a ton of old people in the land of the dead. Not to mention, 3, Hector is wearing really shabby clothing and his body is falling apart. Some of his bones are literally duct taped together, and he stays that way even after he's returned to the ofrenda dressed as a mariachi. Hector's clothing didn't change because the picture doesn't matter. The real issue is that his body is in poor condition because he's poorly remembered. Coco only has limited stories of her father because she was so young when he died, and no one still living has met him at all. As for the clothing, I'd still argue that Ernesto de la Cruz put him in rags and then dumped the body so that he could sell the more expensive mariachi costume that Hector died in. Okay, that took longer than I planned, but anyways, one big complaint I got from my first theory was that the infamous guitar was not cursed like I said, and Miguel actually landed himself in trouble because he stole from the dead on the Day of the Dead, like the clerk explained. But come on, half of those bureaucrats were clueless about what, why, and how things worked. They only knew how to read the screens and recite the given responses. So I'm here to call shenanigans, because while Miguel did steal, and the clerk guy here did make that generalized statement, the movie tells us otherwise. Now, right before Miguel breaks into De La Cruz's, what is this exactly? A mausoleum? A shrine? It's really fancy and there's just one body in there. I'm not really sure what the proper terminology is, but whatever it officially is, Miguel actually steals from the dead before he takes the guitar. When Dante bothers Miguel, he throws a turkey or chicken leg off a plate that's being offered to the dead. And then Miguel breaks the window and scooches open the coffin kind of cement thing here and steals the guitar. How is theft a cursable crime, but desecrating a grave by breaking a window and sliding the lid open is not a big deal? Just saying here, the land of the dead has some wonky rules. And even though these other things happen first, nothing changes until Miguel strums the guitar, which activates the marigolds and sends Miguel to the other side. So the theft didn't change Miguel's living situation, or he wouldn't have been able to break in to steal the guitar in the first place because he would have already been cursed. And we know that's not what happened because Miguel moved the actual guitar, not a ghost copy of it like the other Land of the Dead residents do. So again, it was not the theft that cursed Miguel. It was not breaking into the tomb. It was the act of physically playing the guitar. And not just any guitar, because Miguel was playing earlier on his homemade contraption. It was this guitar. The guitar that belonged to Hector, and pardon my English accent here, I have trouble switching back and forth and saying Hector. And the guitar was the same object that Imelda hated and blamed for tearing her family apart. The kind of stubborn dedication that we see within Imelda leaves me to believe that she's the type who would totally curse her husband's guitar, or curse anyone who played it, which is why Hector died as a musician, and why Ernesto de la Cruz died while playing it too. Okay, one guy who owned the guitar and died is a random event. 2 of the owners dying with the same guitar is questionable, but 3 people dying or nearly dying over the same instrument? That's a curse! And the film backs this up. When Imelda hears about how Miguel ended up in the Land of the Dead, she goes,
"But I wasn't stealing the guitar.
Guitar?
It was my great-great-grandfather's. He would have wanted me to have it."
We do not speak of that musician.
She's disgusted, but not all that shocked. The clerk does call it a curse, but moments later he says this is a family matter, and that's why a member of Miguel's family can break it and send him home. How is it a family curse to steal from the dead? Unless Yes, the family place said curse! Even when Imelda sends Miguel back, the clerk says that she can add any condition she wants, aka another curse. But when Miguel picks the guitar up again without even playing it, he's sent back to the land of the dead. It's because the guitar is the problem here. And why didn't a ghost copy of the guitar cross over with Miguel either time? We see other guitars have crossed over, but even De La Cruz himself doesn't want his old famous guitar back. Suspicious, isn't it? I know, you're probably saying, but Hector died of poison, Ernesto of a falling prop, and Miguel just crossed over without actually dying. True, but curses don't always have specific rules. If Imelda did curse the guitar during her life, then that curse took some time to attack the people using the guitar, and maybe after Imelda died, the curse changed how it worked too. I'm not 100% certain, but having Ernesto de la Cruz die young and in such a violent way has more significance than people are accepting. There's no reason why the plot couldn't allow Ernesto to live a long life of success, because either way he'd be dead from old age by the time the movie started because he's from Imelda's generation. Also notice that when Miguel gets a blessing with no conditions, he grabs the guitar and takes off with it again, but he's not sent back to the land of the dead for a third time. It's because the guitar was cursed. And when Imelda removed all her conditions and stipulations, it kind of uncursed the guitar too. I mean, you can't really steal your own great-great-grandfather's guitar, can you? It rightfully belongs to Coco through inheritance laws to begin with. Not to mention, Miguel never took the guitar out of the building until the end. So how do these rules distinguish stealing the guitar versus playing a song to honor the dead? And I assume the clerk knew all of this, but he wasn't about to say something potentially negative about Imelda, or else he would get the shoe. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun.
Fan mail, shout out. Fan mail, shout out.
Today I'm sending all of my love to Rachel from California, who sent me this really kind, sweet letter and this amazingly beautiful fan art. I've never had anybody send me fan art of me, my alter ego, the Fangirl, themselves, and a character that they want me to do a theory about. I don't like to show off the private letters because they're private, but as per Rachel's request, I will look at when Marty was there as soon as I get the opportunity. Oh, and Rachel's also like ridiculously talented. She sent me her business card too, so I assume she doesn't mind if I share it. Head over to rachelwilson.net and listen to this girl sing because she is just like beautiful. You'll love it. 'Cause I'm not even close. And if you'd like to mail me something, I have my P.O. Box address on my main channel page in the About section. I'm not going to put it in the video in case it changes in the future, but it will be in the About section on my channel page on YouTube, so thank you! Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have two other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.